Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the four card fights for UFC 274 Oliveira versus Gaethje. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Newson versus Fernie Garcia. And how I see this one right here is I'm gonna address a little bit of something with this one. It ain't like I'm gonna say nothing all that deep, but it's definitely not deep. But yeah, somebody in the comment section was like, Newson, I feel like he's the more well-rounded guy, and he's the more this, he's more that. But yeah, he's definitely more experienced. One interesting thing they did say is the fact that both of these guys started fighting roughly around the same time, roughly as far as the MMA career. Newson has been on, I guess his journey has been going on for a long time. No pun intended. It's been going on for a long time. Now, and that kind of connects me to my point. The man been doing grappling for a long time, and I'm not saying he's ever been a stellar grappler, but he's been grappling for a long time. But we really have not seen it in MMA. And the thing is, if you don't use it, it's really irrelevant. You could be a red belt, but if you can't apply it or have not applied it, it's not all of a sudden you're going to go out there and you're going to apply it. You might be able to do it defensively. Or somebody try to think you're going to be an easy person to tap out, and all of a sudden your jiu-jitsu skills come out. But if you yourself is not really offensively doing it like that, it's not like that's going to be such a weapon if you're not utilizing that weapon. And that's what I feel like with Newson. And we don't really know where Garcia's grappling necessarily is at as far as BJJ, but we definitely, from what I've seen, it's like his wrestling is definitely not bad. He got some decent enough wrestling, decent enough grappling. Newson obviously is the more technical, more accomplished as far as built degree grappler. But as far as the man's takedown defense is zero. His takedown offense is zero. Actual any bit of grappling has not looked good. Long torso, short legs, not really recipe for a great grappler most case times. But hey, he got black belt. I guess it's because he's been doing this so long. I feel like that's more so like he's been doing it, so he's been doing it as best he can. That's like a long-term participation. I'm messing words up. A long-time participation trophy. Like, oh, you've been here so long, we might as well give you a black belt. You're doing everything right. You follow on the instructions. You ain't good, but you've been doing it this long. We're gonna give you a black belt. That's what I feel about his grappling. And I feel like there's so many blue belts, white belts that could tap him out, like in MMA sense, not in the grappling sense, but in MMA sense, like pick him apart on the feet, wrestle him, dominate him, give him a neck and tap him out. That's in like wrestlers. But that's off the point. I'm sending this, but all I'm trying to say is Newson's striking still pretty sloppy. He got some power, very square. That's about it. He got a little overhand that's sloppy, but he got power behind. That's the whole thing about him. Is nothing about him as far as striking is all that technical at all, but he got some power. That's a bit. I feel like Garcia's the more technical striker, but I feel like he tries to strike like a box too much, and that causes him to lean over a little bit sometimes. You can lean and duck under some overhands and avoid some shots, but also in a striking sense or kickboxing or MMA, that means you can lean right into somebody's kick, and that could definitely be. I mean, it already happened to Newson, but for Garcia, the same thing could happen. But hopefully, he's working on it. But I'm trusting him, and more so, even though they've been fighting around the same amount of time. Newson fighting a better competition. Newson has been inactive. Garcia's the fresher face. I feel like he would be the hungry guy. I feel like he could push the pace. And I feel like he should be able to slip the big shots from Newson. It's not like Newson has any great kicks. So I feel like this should be Garcia's fight. It's not like again, Newson has zero takedown accuracy and zero takedown defense. So I ain't threatened by his grappling. It's going to also be a striking matchup. Ain't threatened by Newson's kicks. So I'm going to trust a more fluid boxer. But I have my concerns about him getting caught and connecting on, or maybe panning grappling and getting potentially tapped out. But then again, I have not seen the grappling from Newson. The only people he tapped out has been like guys that's like 7-9, 2-100. Like, so I don't respect it. So I feel like Fernie Garcia is just going to outwork him and beat him to a decision in this one. So in this fight, I got Fernie Garcia via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, well, strawweight division, not flyweight. Lupita Godinez versus Ariane Carnelossi. And I see right here is I feel like it's a very competitive fight. I feel like Carnelossi is the better. Oh, I can't even say better this or better that. Like this fight kind of will gauge where each woman is at. But I feel like it's definitely a matchup where it's not like Lupita Godinez will have a fighter she could just lay on or tap out or grapple on. It's not like Ariane Carnelossi would have a woman she could just take down and grapple on. So it's gonna come down who's the better wrestler. And I feel like Lupita Godinez, at least as far as who has the glaring gap right now or the glaring weakness in that, is Carnelossi's takedown defense. I think it's pretty low right now. So I feel like Godinez can test that. And in a fight where so even and necessarily or seemingly easy, even lean to the strength or the weakness. I feel like the weakness clearly is Carnelossi's takedown defense. It's not exactly poor, but it's definitely like 35, 30. It's on the lower end. It's not 20 or 10 or anything like that. But I feel like Godinez could take advantage of that. Pace-wise, it seems like Carnelossi throws more strikes, but when I really watch her, I feel like most of the times we don't really see much of her strike. We have definitely seen Godinez strike more, and have more success striking. Like Carnelossi, we have not really seen that much success. Most of the time, she just desperately going for the takedown. And I feel like Godinez definitely got more dog, more fight in her, which Carnelossi just looks to quickly go back to the grappling. And I feel like Godinez going to outpace her and have more success, at least in a very tight wrestling matchup or a tight matchup. I can trust Godinez to be able to finish shot when needed to, where I feel like I can't trust Carnelossi when the fight's a takedown or stop a takedown is necessary for you to trust Carnelossi to stuff that takedown to win the fight. I feel like when it comes down to that big takedown or that big moment changer, I feel like Godinez will be the one more amped out to stop it or take that action. And I like Godinez in that factor. And also I feel like Godinez has won more major fights. Carnelossi still most of her wins against bums as far as in the UFC. Godinez, I'm not saying she fought the best, but she's definitely been in there with better and has shown better against better. And I like that in a close matchup. So in this fight, I got Lupita Godinez via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, Clayton Rodrigues versus CJ Vegara in the high seat. This one right here is, I think Vegara definitely has a good shot here, but I like Clayton Rodrigues, like how he established distance and how he likes to stay long, especially at a lower end level. Like I feel like that could take you very far, and even at the highest level, that could take you very far. That could win you belts. But you know, the skills gotta go. I mean, you gotta advance. But those fighters that fight like that, at times they can easily end up winning fighters that, oh, that guy's a boring point fighter, or boring this, boring that, but they win. The same way you got these guys that can turn these blankets, they know how to take you down and drain the clock, they win. And it's not like Rodrigues is necessarily looking to win on decisions, but his style established that, like, for the most part, it's low risk. Like, he stabs the range, be long with the shots, and snipes his opponents out there. And I like that against Vegara. Vegara, I feel like, is dangerous on the inside. He can land these big shots, land these fast combinations, sharp knees. But Clayton Rodrigues is able to establish that distance, maintain that distance, and, you know, make Vegara fight on his terms. This is Rodrigues' fight, and I feel like he can do that. My only concern is that Rodrigues sometimes sits in the pocket after throwing these shots and, like, kind of just stays there. And that leaves him susceptible for counters. And I feel like that could be a very bad night if he falls into that pattern and Vegara potentially hurt him at times or even put him away. And that could shift the complexity of the fight, especially, like, say, you're landing sharp shots, but it's not like you're constantly doing it. You land a combination, you reestablish a range. You land a combination. So not necessarily the highest output. And a guy like Vegara landing those harder shots could easily turn the fight that should be a clear decision and shift that, because now you're landing these sharp shots and you're controlling most of the fight, but you're not landing so much. And then this guy, when he's landing, like, not as much as you, but when he's landing, he's more effective. And all of a sudden turns into a whole different thing. But I feel like Clayton Rodrigues should be able to control this fight. And I feel like he'll work on that and won't sit in the pocket as much after throwing these shots. Won't look at his work as much and should just, like I said, get back to stabbing that range and work him out that range. And I see him beating Vegara to a decision. So in this one, I got Clayton Rodrigues via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Tracy Cortez versus Melissa Gatto. And I see this one right here is I'm leaning Melissa Gatto here. I'm picking Melissa Gatto here. I feel like Tracy Cortez in her last fight did not look her best. I don't know what was going on with her. I haven't necessarily done no research into her life. I didn't check her Instagram. I didn't check her Facebook. I didn't go on her Twitter. I ain't subscribed to her OnlyFans and try to contact her or nothing like that. So as far as I know, I don't really know. She struggled with Justin Keach, but kudos to Justin Keach. She went on and beat a Lima McFarlane, former Bellator champion. Like, so she went over UFC being irrelevant, went over there, beat a former champion with the #1 contender in that women's division in Bellator, and beat her. And prior to this, she was coming off a split decision loss to Tracy Cortez and had Tracy Cortez hurt. But I don't know, we're knocking Tracy Cortez or we're knocking Justin Keach, but I don't know, I'm kind of knocking Justin Keach in the fact that Tracy Cortez struggled with her. I didn't really like that much. And also, looking at the Agapova fight, didn't really like that as much. So I feel like Tracy Cortez, even though she's like a cardio-pushing fighter, I feel like she kind of struggles in some of these third rounds, sometimes late. Because even Agapova, I think Agapova had her best round in the third round. Justin Keach started to come on late. And I feel like even with Justin Keach really not having the most active guard, you know, just having a guard and then just trying to push off, or at least trying to maintain guard, I saw it kind of frustrated Cortez a little bit. So I don't know really how to feel about Cortez. I feel like she could definitely have a path where Gatto definitely likes to, you know, not really likes to, but she doesn't really do the best job of defending takedowns, I guess, because she's not really worried about giving up takedowns because she wants to grapple anyway. So her takedown defense at times could be almost negative because, like I said, she's accepting the ground position. And Cortez is a solid wrestler, and she can maintain that top position and potentially just blanket Gatto. But I think for sure, no matter if she's on top or not, or whether Gatto's giving up these takedowns or not, And Cortez, whether she can establish and be good on top or not. Gatto for sure will be a woman that has a very active guard and actually throwing threatening submission attempts up and not just moving her leg just to move her leg. Like she's trying to take your back. She's hitting sweeps. She's going for all types of submissions. If you're struggling with Keisha's guard, which is very low compared to Gatto's, like could be a very long night for Cortez out there. Now I feel like either are super great strikers, but I feel like Gatto, she's aggressive, touch her a little bit, make it frustrating, and then force Cortez when she does go for shots to have to and try to grapple or maintain that top position to have to deal with different submissions, and maybe at times just have to bail on the ground and just force go back to standing. I feel like it could be a very long night for Cortez. I feel like Gatto has the better cardio. That's what I feel ultimately in this one. I feel like Cortez will have success. She will be on top. And I feel like she easily could be leading by a lot of judging standards. Probably could be shut out on the scorecards because Cortez just, like I said, Cortez could shut Gatto out of the scorecards, at least up to the point. But ultimately, I feel like Gatto will be able to capitalize in the third round and tap out a tired Cortez in that third round. I feel like she'll be landing some good shots. Cortez will land some good shots as well. I feel like Cortez will be wearing the shots is more probably have a bloody nose, a little bit of bloody mouth, probably mouth breathing a little bit, and going for these desperation shots just to try to drain the clock off and catch a breather. Like I said, that would probably help her through the first two rounds. Like I said, I feel like it really should be a dead even fight or maybe a Gatto fight, but the fact that Cortez on top and not getting tapped out probably will have her up on all the cards, 2 rounds to zip. But clearly the momentum will be favoring Gatto, I feel. But it probably be like a case where Gatto will need a submission, and I feel like she'll be able to get that submission. Tired Cortez, going for a shot, getting caught with some 1-2s, probably caught with a couple of teeps trying to come in. Then I feel like she gets the takedown. Gatto kind of falls to her back, but then on the back, Gatto's throwing up submissions, slamming elbows and hammer fists, and Cortez just trying to avoid them, then gets caught in a triangle choke, and then tapped out in that third round. So in this fight, I got Melissa Gatto via third round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Andre Fialho versus Cameron VanCamp. And how I see this one right here is I just feel like Fialho is better everywhere. For better competition, beat better competition. I feel like anything VanCamp has, you can't really even rate it too much because he hasn't been there with anybody. And even when you look at people he's fought and then lost to as well, just not that level of competition. And I don't feel like he has the foot movement. I don't feel like he has the wrestling. I don't feel like he has the grappling. I really say he don't have any areas. He definitely got heart and he's definitely brave. I'll give him that. But outside of that, I feel like Fialho should be able to find him, should be able to touch him pretty early and often, and should be able to get him out of there, and I'll say in the first round. So in this fight, I got Andre Fialho via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Blagoy Ivanov versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. And I see this one is kind of like the Ben Rothwell pick, but maybe lightning strikes twice, maybe lightning strikes thrice, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I feel like it's a case where Marcos Rogerio Lima, yes, he got a big win over Ben Rothwell, the biggest win of his career. But it didn't show anything about him that we hadn't already known. He has big power, and he's a first-round fighter. It's not like, he has 2 decision victories on the record, but against very low-tier competition. Outside of that, first rounds are busts. And Blagoy Ivanov, I'm not saying he's the greatest guy in the world, but he's definitely a solid and established heavyweight. And one of the things about him is toughness. You rarely ever see this guy rocked or hurt. I don't think ever. He tanked Dos Santos' overhands. He tanked Derek Lewis's punches. So he tanked a lot of people's power. Tanked bats and knives to the dome, into the heart and the chest. The man is very durable, very tough. And I feel like he's the better fighter outside the first round. Probably even in the first round as well in this overall. But yeah, in this one, you either going with the Lima first round or you're going with Blagoy Ivanov by whatever he wants. Basically, I feel like he could get him out in the first round, but your best bet probably second or third round. And he could get him out by knockout or he get him out by submission or decision. I'm going to say second round tap out. So first round, the Lima probably come on tough. Ivanov probably catching the shots or rolling them or tanking them, constantly in his face, and De Lima just ripping those bombs out. But and Ivanov started his own shots. De Lima looking uncomfortable after like maybe the first minute or two, mouth breathing, but still ripping these big shots, and Ivanov respecting them. Then the second round, you really see a tired, demoralized De Lima, and then Ivanov just starts to put it on him, starts to put him in clinch, land some punches, land some little dirty boxing, and then De Lima tries to go for a takedown or for some grappling just to catch a breather. Then Ivanov just gets his neck, slaps on the front choke, and just taps out a tired De Lima in that second round. So in this fight, I got Blagoy Ivanov via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Brandon Royval versus Matt Schnell. And how I see this one right here is I feel like this is very much a winnable fight for Matt Schnell. Royval is not the greatest striker. I feel like Schnell is the better striker. More polished, more clean. Grappling wise, Schnell is underrated grappler. So this is a very much an underrated fight. I mean, a case where Schnell come in, but he was going in with a better striker, more sharper striker, or a guy that was just like this very heavy wrestler or very heavy grappler. I can see him getting blanketed decision, or like the heavy striker could see him getting knocked out, but I ultimately see him getting tapped out in this one. I think it could be a case where Schnell gonna be leading, but Royval is going to just be aggressive. And he's gonna be throwing up the Hail Mary. He's gonna be out there throwing all those combinations, be sloppy and be wild and unorthodox. And something eventually gonna land, or it's gonna be a case the value gonna keep it so close, like it's gonna be a competitive fight. And when Royval does catch up some of these haymakers at times, gonna have Schnell knees buckling a little bit. Then Royval gonna start to look to grapple in between the two. And I feel like Schnell's gonna oblige and like try to grapple back. But Royval gonna be out scramble him and get the better positions. They eventually start to catch up some shots. And like I said, you catch them shots on the ground or on the feet. Like I said, Schnell's chin's unreliable. To start to catch him and just breaking him down. Then eventually in the scramble, start to wear Schnell, get a better position, land some ground and pound, and then tap out Schnell. And I say second round. So in this fight, I got Brandon Royval via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's featherweight division, Macy Chiasson versus Norma Dumont. And how's season right here? So first off, I would say again, Chiasson came off the Ultimate Fighter looking like she could beat somebody. I'm not saying she came out like she was a world, like she was going to beat the world, but I thought she'd come around and at least be able to quickly ascend and maybe get a title shot, or quickly ascend and be able to at least be better than what she is now. But yeah. But hey, the two losses, all of a sudden everything changes. But even outside of losses, she just has not been looking specifically or particularly great at all. And this one, I feel like Dumont has packed some more power. I feel like she's a better striker. I feel like she's a better grappler, better wrestler. And at least I feel like she could shut Chiasson's takedown defense down and keep the jab consistent, pepper her up. And really got to see a case where she just outboxes her and then start, like I said, breaks her down with the striking, drags her to the mat, then tap her out. I'm going to say second round. That's really what I see. Dissect her on the feet, drag her to the mat, dominate her, then tap her out. So in this fight, I got Norma Dumont via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in welterweight division, Francisco Trinaldo versus Danny Roberts. And I see one right here. So I was really going to think Roberts was a good dog here, but ultimately, you can't really trust a guy who can't really step up. Like, he got a good win over Ramazan Amib in his last one, even though I feel like it shouldn't have went his way, but it is what it is. It's not a bad decision, but yeah, you can't really trust Roberts consistently in big moments. He's been around for a good while, and this has not been able to come through. Trinaldo, yes, he's old, but it's not like Roberts, the youngest spring chicken. And again, like, tight matchup leads to the guy who has the edges. And not like say Roberts striking edge, you can't really say that's consistent. He's supposed to be the young guy, but I don't like the fact he doesn't put up a whole lot of value himself. If he put up a lot of value, I'd probably say, oh, that would, make me more enticed to pick him. Oh, he throws up a lot of value. This guy throwing up a lot of shots. He might not have had the most power. He might not have had the most this, most that, but the guy will put up a good volume. He has decent enough takedown defense that I might pick him against Trinaldo. But the fact that his output isn't all that crazy, Trinaldo's going to throw heavier shots. Trinaldo has the better wrestling and the better grappling, get the takedowns. I'm not saying go out there to just take him down easily every round, but the fact that he probably can do that at least one, if not 2 rounds, I definitely think he could do that in 1 round, and probably keep the other 2 rounds relatively close and landing the bigger power shots and being the pressuring fighter. In a tight matchup, you can't really favor Roberts. Like I said, it's not like his footwork is so amazing. It's not like he has such power. It's not like he's so more technical, and again, it's not like he does up a lot of shots. So when you try to lean to him, I can't really find that exact edge. I could definitely see him eking out a split decision type victory, but I can't see him eking out a solid victory. Whereas Trinaldo, I could see him potentially catching Roberts, who is chinny. I could see him potentially tapping out Roberts. And I can see him out there blanking in Roberts. I can see way more paths with Trinaldo in this one. And I just really can't see necessarily that clear of a path for Roberts. So even though I could seemingly like him here, I just can't see enough to lean to him here. So in this fight, I got Francisco Trinaldo via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, in our prelim headliner, Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams. And how I see from right here between Brown versus Williams is, I think Williams definitely packs more power, more unorthodox. But I feel like Randy Brown's height and reach and experience and striking, and also his track record. When you really look at Randy Brown, most of his losses have come by grapplers, and Chaos Williams is not a grappler. You kind of say, oh, the EnochPrice loss, but I can't really even rate that. That's just a weird, unorthodox fight. I'm not taking away from EnochPrice, but it's like you can't say, oh, he got outstruck by EnochPrice. EnochPrice knocked him out. I can't say that. Can't say, oh, EnochPrice did that. So it's like it is what it is. Like clear win for him, but very unorthodox. Then you got really the only one I could say he really lost a striking match was to Vicente Luque. And Luque is one of the better strikers in the division and has dissected with leg kicks. It's not like we have seen great leg kicks from Chaos Williams. Decent, but nothing all that great. I feel like Randy Brown could easily slip the kicks, and I also see Williams whiff it on a lot of kicks in a lot of fights. I feel like Williams, technique definitely getting better and definitely still a work in progress and definitely right talent. It's still very, 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 very close of a fight. So no knock on Williams. I think he could very much win this fight. And I feel like he's the favorite for a reason, but I feel like Brown should win this one. I feel like he can definitely make him whiff on a lot of these kicks. He's already whiffing a lot of these fights on the kicks and on punches as well. So his range control is not as good as Brown. I feel like Brown is much sharper with his shots. And also having that reach and having the technical advantage, I feel like he calls Williams to miss even more and make him pay. See, and also Williams, a lot of his shots are big looping hooks. And I feel like Randy Brown can see that and, deal with that pretty well. Especially when he's not dealing with some guy that's necessarily that big of a wrestling threat. I feel like Williams will try to maybe mix in some of those and might have a little bit of success, but I feel like Randy Brown has nothing to worry about there. So even if he does get taken down, he'll be able to stuff it. Be able to get back to his feet. Like I said, might give up one take, might give up two, but that's about it. And nothing really done with those. Maybe Williams try to land some shots on the stand-up, but outside that, not doing enough. In the clinch, not doing enough. And I see Randy Brown just making him miss and making him pay, outstriking him. And we come in swing wide, be able to catch him with clean counter, probably even time a flying knee, and just make him think about entering, maybe have him wobble for a little bit, make him stand off a little, maybe had to recover himself. And I see Randy Brown being a more cleaner, more technical striker, being a sharper, more reflexive fighter, and having Chaos Williams dinking and while he's dinking, Randy Brown will be landing. I think eventually Chaos Williams starts to get frustrated in the fight, and I think Randy Brown picks him apart even more. And then Chaos Williams go back for a shot. Then I think Randy Brown be able to reverse it, take his back, drag him to the mat, land some shots, hop on the back, sink in the rear naked choke, and taps out Chaos Williams in the third round. So in this fight, I got Randy Brown via third round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in our first fight on the main card in the lightweight division, Donald Cerrone versus Joe Lauzon. So you got the battle of veterans right here. And I'm going to get to the point. Joe Lauzon hasn't fought in a couple years. He's come off a big win. I feel like recently he gets beat Jonathan Pierce, who's looking very good. And, it's making him look very good right now. Donald Cerrone. But prior to that, Joe Lauzon, even considering that fight, Joe Lauzon has been looking very good in the first round from a grappling perspective, like going out and just taking guys down, dominating on the ground. But second rounds and beyond that first round has been looking horrendous. Like he just looks flat out exhausted. So I don't know if the time off would have helped. He had some surgery, but from that has not been looking good past the first round. Cerrone, as we all know, has always been a slow first round fighter. Then turns up in later round. But as far as first round, Cerrone has never looked particularly poor in the grappling department, except maybe against Ben Henderson in a rematch, that second fight. But outside that, Cerrone, for the most part, has always looked pretty sharp in the grappling. And he has had a long career. So if Joe Lauzon's banking on the first round grappling success, he could try to swarm him, but the people that have stopped Cerrone have all been, I think, much higher caliber than Lauzon. And throughout his career, Cerrone has been on a much higher caliber than Lauzon. So Lauzon kind of been at that middle pack. Cerrone has been at the top pack. He just has struggled to actually win the belt and has failed to actually win a major belt. I don't think he hasn't won a belt at all in MMA, but I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like Cerrone, I feel like it's going to be like either Lauzon first or Cerrone beyond that. And I feel like he shouldn't have too much issue with Lauzon's early rush, I don't think, in the striking. But probably still going to have a little bit of issues. Probably going to knock some little cobwebs off in that first round, but be able to stay on, probably even be able to win that first round. But I'm more so just saying, like, first round could give it to Lauzon, but I think Cerrone is more than capable enough to either win that first round or weather that first round against Lauzon. More than capable enough. Like I said, win, maybe even stop in that first round, but I'm going to say he takes him out of the first round, and then Lauzon starts to fade, come in that second round, not the same fighter. And then Cerrone, like I said, he turns it up, so you got the momentum shift. And then Cerrone starts to dig into his body, dig into his legs, walk him down, pick him apart, curl him over, follow with some ground and pound, and put him away in that second round. So in this fight, I got Donald Cerrone via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Ovince St. Preux versus Mauricio Shogun Rua. And this is a rematch of a fight. Well, OSP versus Rua 2 or OSP versus Shogun 2. But yeah, a rematch of a fight that happened some years ago. But both of these guys aren't in the best place right now. Shogun should have been retired. And that's for like, he's not wearing these shots the best. Like he almost like got so much damage on him that when he's taking these shots, like you already see him like it's like it's hitting old areas. Like he just so vulnerable right now. Now I can't say he could have such a great wrestling success. And I feel like the best thing he could potentially do is be aggressive, land a big shot, and put OSP away, or just swarm him and break him down. But I can't really see him having the greatest grappling success. And also, I can't really see him doing that without getting caught by OSP. I feel like he'll come out probably grass, probably fill it out a little bit, probably try to get a test the waters, try to slam some leg kicks, try to slam some body kicks, and try to slam some overhands, and probably work behind the jab just a little bit. But I feel like OSP be cracking with some body kicks, cracking with some leg kicks back. Then when Rua starts to open up, I feel like those counters gonna open up, and OSP gonna crack them. And even the shots that aren't the counter, like the early shots, I feel like when he start getting dug into the body, touch the top, you're gonna see him kind of slow down. You're gonna see him take a little breather, take a little thought, like take a little time to think, because like he's gonna be feeling those shots. Like I just feel like at this point he's taking a lot of damage in his career. He has had a long story career, and I think it's time for him to retire. Really, that's like nothing left for him in the game. He has accomplished a lot, and I just feel like he's not gonna take those shots the best. And I think OSP puts him out in the second round. So I feel like fill out process, but clearly Rua not wearing the shots the best. And then the second round, OSP just starts to turn up on him, walk him down, start to count, like land on him, and puts him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Ovin St. Pruex via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. And how I see this one right here between Chandler versus Ferguson is I think really, I don't know, I've been kind of on the fence. Well, I haven't been on the fence. I've been leaning Chandler. I'm still picking Chandler. But as far as with Ferguson, I don't know where his mental game is. But definitely saying recent stuff. He still talk about Khabib, still talking about this, looking old, graying up, and all that stuff. I feel like he's mentally in a better place than he's been in a lot of these other fights, but still not where he needs to be. And I still, even without that, I think Chandler has skills to beat him. I feel like Chandler can go out to score takedowns and just control him on top. Chandler has very good submission defense skills. Chandler has been in many big fights. He's not a guy that you could say, oh, he's just a squatty wrestler who doesn't have cardio. He could push the pace. He's tough. He's durable, and has shown that in a lot of fights. So, yeah, I just feel like he go out there, be faster, more explosive, crack Ferguson with shots, pick him up, take him down, and just ride that top position. I feel like Ferguson will be active off bottom, but I think Chandler will be able to neutralize him, land some good ground and pound, and be effective there. I think it'll be a decision-type fight. I feel like Ferguson going to actually be competitive on the feet, but Chandler's going to, like I said, be landing those big shots and then get those big takedowns and be able to ride and control from top position. Probably land some good ground and pound. But I think probably early on, probably be close to stopping Ferguson at points, but Ferguson be able to roll back to his guard and be able to like I say, keep himself within the fight. And I think this is a competitive, exciting fight, probably the best fight Ferguson had in years. But I think, like I said, the power, the explosiveness, the wrestling, the submission defense will be able to neutralize Ferguson on the bottom. And also the ground and pound will make it easy for the judges to lean to Chandler in this one. But I feel like Ferguson might be able to sneak around out in here. But again, Chandler's power, his wrestling, submission defense, top control, championship experience will allow him to thrive in the chaos and beat Ferguson to a decision. And also, like I said, the wrestling and, like I said, submission defense will not allow Ferguson to be as active or as successful as he wants to on the ground, or as he needs to be. So in this fight, I got Michael Chandler via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event in the women's strawweight division, Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2. And how I see this one right here is, as far as this one, first off, Rose Namajunas, every single rematch he has, she wins. And it's always in a close decision. So I see this as a close decision. I think it's going to be a case where Carla Esparza will be able to get takedowns and get lots of takedowns. I feel like Rose Namajunas will get off a good amount of shots in each round. But like I said, Rose will be able to get off on the shots. I feel like Esparza will be able to get off on some flurries, but nothing really super effective on the feet. Just more so shots to get in and get on these shots. Whereas Rose Namajunas landed clean shots and probably later down the stretch really landed some hurting shots on Esparza and walking her down more in those rounds. But Esparza still being able to get some takedowns just because Namajunas is not really the best wrestler. And I feel like mostly Esparza going to be in guard, trying to land some ground and pound, but Namajunas landing good shots off her back, trying to throw up good submission attempts. I see it's a very close fight where, like I said, it's going to be based off the effectiveness of Namajunas throwing submission, even though she's not getting them, and landing shots off her back. And probably even getting a couple of reversals here and there. But really, a lot of this fight going to be Esparza on top of Namajunas. So I see one of those close fights where it's like, it could easily go either way, but they're going to lean Namajunas actually, looking more so to finish the fight. I see this as a higher level fight between Esparza and that red-haired chick I'm forgetting right now. Like, her name comes and goes. But I'm seeing it as a higher level fight where, yes, Esparza's on top, But also you factor in the fact that Rose's striking looking much sharper, and she's getting success on the striking. Like I said, Esparza doing well on the ground and decent ground and pound, but Namajunas, like I said, being more effective in more areas and also being the one coming closer to the finish and actually doing more damage throughout and more consistently and getting her hand raised. So very close fight, but Rose Namajunas getting her hand raised in a close decision. So in this fight, I got Rose Namajunas via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division for the undisputed lightweight title, Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. And how I see this one right here is, like I said, years back, or even just prior to this run Oliveira's on, or like as far as him winning the belt and now defending it, and yeah, pretty much Chandler fight beyond it would, or prior to the Chandler fight, I would have leaned Gaethje. I like, oh, easy money. Like he could, Gaethje's a former Division I wrestler, could defend the takedowns. You know, if Oliveira just too hittable, Gaethje's gonna knock him out. That's why I would have said pretty much really 99% of the time, like really most of the years, most of the time I would have leaned that way. But recency, going with Oliveira here. Kind of similar way I was actually predicting Tony Ferguson to beat Gaethje, but Gaethje showed up obviously those years back. But yeah, I feel like Gaethje definitely has the power. I feel like he definitely connect on Oliveira. I feel like Oliveira would definitely get dropped in this one and get back up and show his heart once again. And I feel like Oliveira, what he's working, I see him trying to work more on keeping his hands up, ripping to the body. And I feel like it'd be good to catch the hook and to rip Gaethje to the body, probably double hook to the body, land some knees and some teeps to the body. As we seen like in the Melvin Gallara fight, Gaethje when he gets touched in the body, freeze up and get like back off. We've seen in the Eddie Alvarez fight, get knee to the body, start to dip down, need for the clinch to get kneed in the head by Eddie Alvarez. Seen in the Poirier fight, when he gets hit the body, he doesn't deal with the best. Even in the Chandler fight, Chandler when he was working to the body, every single time was having good success. Gaethje started landing some good counters, but like I say, you mix up, don't be predictable with it. You could definitely have a lot of success against Gaethje with body shots. And I feel like that's what Oliveira would do, looking to break him down with body shots throughout the fight, wear him down. I feel like Gaethje, like I said, will have good success early, but I feel like Oliveira like gonna get hurt. And also I feel like he gonna kind of just give him like, you know, some get back to Gaethje, like from Gaethje saying, oh, you don't got a heart, you don't got this, that. And it's like take a shot, get hurt, get back up, clear the cobwebs a little bit, and just continually walk him down. Like I say, he gonna mix some grappling, but maybe not to great success early as far as takedowns. We get something for Gaethje to look at, and then continually go back and start walking Gaethje down, take his best shots, rip him to the body, and start have Gaethje kind of curling over a little bit, start to land some knees, stepping knees, flying knees, elbows in the clinch, and have Gaethje, you know, breathing, put Gaethje back on that back foot, probably slam some kicks in there as well. And as Gaethje starts to wear down with the fight from Oliveira's pressure and body work, then he starts to hunch over a little bit. Then I see Oliveira hopping on a standing guillotine or a flying guillotine and tapping out a tired Gaethje in that third round. So in this fight, I got Charles Oliveira via third round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the four-card fights for UFC 274, Oliveira versus Gaethje. And as always, thanks for watching.